You're listening to the Salty Sex Cast with Mariah and friends. Minimize the fear. Expand your awareness.
Well, hello, everyone. It is Mariah, your favorite certified health and wellness coach and sexual enthusiast. I have a new friend I'm so excited to introduce you all to. So I have Jeff Abraham, who is the CEO of Promescent. Would you like to say hi?
It correctly. Most people don't pronounce it correctly on first. I'm impressed.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It was something I always mess up everything. And so I'm proud of myself for saying it the right way too.
Most people go, this is the CEO of Promescent. I'm like, what? Promescent, you know?
Promescent. Yeah, I could see it has a couple different ways you could say it, but
exactly.
Yeah. Wonderful. This was a product that Brady, my producer, had talked about and was trying to explain it to me. And of course, being a woman without a penis, I checked out a little bit. I was like, oh, cool. There's some cool thing that some dentist or somebody, I can't remember what he was saying, but I was like, yeah. And then it came back up again. And I was like, how do I know this name? And Brady was like, I've been telling you about this product. He was so excited that you were coming on and that we got a wonderful welcome or a kit sent to us, all these fun products and things. And I have to tell you, I have a new favorite product, and maybe we'll talk about that later. But tell me a little bit about what made Promescent, and mostly the one that a lot of people talk about is the delay spray, and why that is something that actually helps our sexual health.
It's interesting because you hit it right on the head. That was our foundation product. That's what put us on the map. This company was founded by my neighbor, my good friend, and my doctor, Dr. Ronald Gilbert, who happened to be a urologist at Hoag Hospital in Newport Beach. And so when people would come to see him for prostate issues or ED, you know, he'd have Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, incontinence. He had 4 or 5 different options. So no matter what they'd come see him for, it was like, oh yeah, we got all, whatever you need. And they go, oh, I have PE. And be like, that's a little trickier. Okay, here's your 2 options. There's these delay sprays that were out there that totally numb you and then transfer and numb your partner. So there's really no objective, and it's really not the best thing to go, well, we can have sex for 45 minutes, but no one climaxes because we're all just sweating and moving, but we're all numb. You might as well go take a hot yoga class or a spin class. Same thing. Yeah. You're getting exercise, but you're not getting rewarded with the pleasure. The other option were, and these actually worked, SSRIs, which are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. But to the average person, you know, that doesn't realize those medical terms, those are the depression drugs, Paxil, Prozac, Zoloft. They actually delay a man's ejaculatory response, but the side effects are dry mouth, nausea, vomiting, loss of libido, suicidal thoughts. That's like putting out a candle with a fire hose, okay? If you're not depressed, do not take depression drugs, okay? They're not made for you, and there's some serious side effects. Loss of libido alone, I'd be like, okay, now I can last forever, but I have no desire to have sex, okay? So that's not a good trade-off. So Ron decided there has to be something better. So he got together with a PhD in organic chemist, and they developed a lidocaine-based spray that was very unique. It was unique in the form that they changed the crystalline structure of lidocaine. In its pure form, lidocaine is a solid or a crystal. It sits on the surface of the skin. Through this patented formula, we changed that structure to where it's oil aqueous. So it literally penetrates the dermis or stratum corneum, and it goes to the sensory nerves underneath. Mm-hmm. So upon 7 to 10 minutes after applying it, the man still maintains a very high degree of surface sensitivity, and it doesn't transfer to the female. So it allows the man to have a much higher, degree of sensitivity. So he still enjoys himself and doesn't transfer to the female. So you get the added benefit of more time without the downside of numbing everybody up. And, it's funny because initially almost 100% of people using our product had suffered with severe PE because we were very big in urological circles, and we're actually in the protocol of 2,200 urologists. They mention our product by name. If you go to see them, it says Promescent. Very proud of that. We have deep roots in the urological community, and we have an advisory board that has people on it like Dr. Wayne Hellstrom, who was the president of the International Society of Sexual Medicine. He's a urologist at Tulane University. Dr. Mohit Kira at Baylor University, Dr. Larry Levine, Dr. Rachel Rubin. These are all renowned sexual medicine specialists. So we're very proud of that. So initially, that's how we grew. But then word started seeping out, just like Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, even people who go, I just want to last longer. Because the average man, healthy man, let's step out of the realm of PE. The average normal healthy man lasts 5 minutes and 42 seconds of actual penetration or thrusting during intercourse, and the average female takes 18 minutes of penetration or thrusting to achieve climax. So there's a term for it that many therapists and many urologists are aware of. It's called the arousal gap. So even in healthy couples, there is this disparate, need for, something to bridge that gap. So we started developing a huge following, and the people who go, I just want to last longer. And we've had so many emails from men that say, I didn't really have premature ejaculation. I normally lasted long enough for my partner to climax, but the last 2 minutes or the last 3 minutes, there was like this little guy on my shoulder, not yet. Oh my God, not yet. No, she hasn't climaxed yet. No. And
that's not enjoyable.
That's not enjoyable. I always tell people that two things should never be mixed are anxiety and intimacy. If you inject anxiety into intimacy, okay, your intimacy's ruined, okay? Mm-hmm. No one ever goes, put on, some sexy music, light some candles, let's have a glass of wine, and let's throw in a dose of anxiety. You know what I mean? Really lighten the mood. I don't really think that's on most people's playlist, So you want to eliminate that. And people tell us, there's this little guy on my shoulder, not yet, not. And so even if you do last long enough, you're like, oh God, it's like, that's not the feeling. You want to have this reckless abandon, you know what I mean? And so we tell people that you don't have to suffer from PE to benefit from having this, tool at your disposal. And one of our customers used an analogy that I stole from him, and I find it hilarious. And he said, you know what I equate your product to? And I go, what's that? He goes, it's like fire insurance. I go, how's that? He goes, you can't really wait until your house is halfway burnt down, then call up the insurance company and go, hey, I need to put fire insurance on this. And I started laughing. And he goes, the first thing they're going to say is, what is that I smell burning in the background? What's that crackling noise? We can't put a house under fire insurance. It was already on fire. He said, if you're literally in the midst of making love to your partner and you go, oh my God, it's too early, and you start to ejaculate, you reach that point of inevitability. You can't go, wait a second, let me run to the store. You know what I mean? Or, and I go, you're right. I go, that is a pretty good analogy, the old, fire insurance thing. And he goes, and one thing is too, there are men that don't suffer from it chronically, but if you haven't had sex in a while, you'll tend to have a quicker trigger because you haven't released in a while. If you're in a new relationship, you're going to have a little bit of a quicker trigger, only because you're not into a routine. I don't care how creative you are. I don't care if you're the world's greatest lover and your partner is the greatest lover and their own right as well. If you've been together years and years, there's a certain familiarity that comes into your lovemaking, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it becomes more routine. And it's not quite as exciting as it was initially. And that's just human nature. There's nothing wrong with that. And you give up the excitement of something new you're unfamiliar with for the literally serenity and calm and sometimes the security of a good relationship. But when you start a new relationship that you're not quite familiar with, there's this feeling of, I don't know what comes next. This is a different feel, a different smell, which heightens the sensitivity. So a lot of men will tell you, I tend to have a little bit of a quicker trigger when I'm with a newer partner. So they go, if I haven't been intimate for a while or with someone new, I want to have this protection, you know what I mean? To make sure that I last a little bit longer. Women will tell us that, they find it hard to bring up that, and when I do a lot of serious radio shows and interactive podcasts where they have callers call in. And it's so funny because whenever there's a woman that calls in, I know exactly what they're going to ask, and I know exactly the follow-up question. They're going to be, number one, how can I bring this up? And number two, how can I bring it up without hurting his feelings? So I have this response that I use all the time, and I say, make it your fantasy night, make it your 50 Shades of Gray night, and bring out a blindfold, a riding crop, a feather duster, and a bottle of Promescent. If all you do is go, here, use this, it's personalizing. It's saying you don't last long enough to satisfy me. But if you say we're having a fantasy night, here's your blindfold and your riding crop and, your feather duster and everything else, it almost seems like, well, I want to last longer, so we're having all this new stuff going on. But I tell women that once you give a guy that control, you never have to tell him to use it again. Guys love control. Think about this for a second. Whenever you go over another couple's house and it's a man and a woman and they're watching TV, who's got the control? Who's got the remote? It's the guy, okay? If you see a couple driving down the road and the guy is sitting in the passenger seat and the woman's driving, it just invariably pops in my head. I go, that guy must have a DUI and lost his driver's license. Guys, they have to be the one behind the wheel. They're not going to ask for directions. I can figure it out. Guys are control freaks. They are. And when it comes to the fact that, when I said that they'll say, how do I do without hurting his feelings? You can't personalize it. You have to say, our lovemaking is fantastic. Let's take it turbo fantastic. Our love is turbo fine. Let's send it into the next stratosphere. Or, the kids are gone. We don't have to get up early tomorrow. Let's make this. Because you have to really be careful with men, because there's this stigma that every man wants to feel like he's the greatest lover on planet Earth.
Yep.
And I always tell people that before I took this job, if someone would say to me, what's the most fragile substance on earth? I'd go, I don't know, some fine Fabergé egg or, some English china. It's the male ego. That's the most fragile substance on earth. You have to dance around it. I'm so glad I'm a man and not a woman, because, you have to make up all these things. Oh, you're just so wonderful. Oh, you're the best, and it's difficult. So, but once you find this and get a man to use this, you'll never have to tell him again, because men love control. They love the idea, instead of going, can I last long enough? It'd be like, do I want to give her 1, 2, or 3 orgasms before we're done? They're like, I like that better than the idea of, can I give her 1?
Yeah.
So it's very, very important that if you're a female listening to this, you're going, how do I bring it into the relationship? Don't make it personal. Don't say you're deficient. Don't say you can't satisfy me. You have to package it properly, which is, we're great relationship. I love our sex life, but let's get a little adventuresome. Let's take it to the next level.
Get creative of how you bring it up, and maybe even, use one of the other products too, and say, hey, there's this sexual help line that I'm wanting to try a few other things. And I so happen to get this other thing, that's with the other stuff that I got. It could be really easy.
That's excellent. I never thought about that, but, because for the first 7 years, believe it or not, until 2018, all we had was the delay spray.
Oh.
Then a lot of people came to us and said, when I was lasting 30 seconds, I didn't need lube. I'm lasting 10 minutes now. I need lube.
We need lube. Yes, you do. Especially because your partner gets used to that as well. And she's going to be her, is okay. Usually I have to get really wet really fast, but then if we last longer, my body's not used to that. And now I need to introduce this.
So we developed the lubes, and then a couple women were like, hey, we love your product. We love what it's done, but what about something for women? Our next product was the female arousal gel. And that was an immediate hit. And then I wish I could say I was that smart, but all I do is I'm very interactive. I talk to a lot of our customers. I listen to what they tell me.
Yes, and you do.
They guide me where we need to go. And then, but with the VitaFlux, that was totally a freak. One of our doctors developed it. He came to me and goes, oh my God, this product's great. You need to try this, blah, blah, blah. And I tried it. I'm like, oh my Lord, this stuff is fantastic. And the weird part was we had it just for men for like the first 6 months. And one of my neighbors, one of my very good friends, he uses all of our stuff. So as soon as it comes out, I got to use this. And he's like, I love VitaFlux. And he's 3 years younger than me. So he's 61 right now. I'm 64. So he says to me, I need something for my wife. I go, what do you mean? He goes, my libido has gone up through the roof on VitaFlux. He goes, so I need something for my wife. And I go, okay. So I called the doctor and developed VitaFlux. I go, hey, is there something you can suggest for women, with libido and everything. He starts laughing. I go, why are you laughing? He's like, VitaFlux. I'm like, what? He goes, you don't know? I go, I thought it was for men. He goes, think about it. It has the exact same effect on women. He goes, the clitoris is a miniature penis. And he goes, I go, oh my God. I go, you're right. And it's a nitric oxide supplement. It's totally natural. It's 3 amino acids, L-carnitine, L-citrulline, and L-arginine, along with magnesium and zinc. But what it does is it opens up your capillaries and opens up your veins. It increases blood flow. By doing that, it obviously, allows you to recover from workouts and stress, because that's what oxygenated rich blood. So it has non-sexual benefits. But here's the real benefit. The blood flow into your penis and into your vagina increase your libido, because when you have arousal, it makes you more horny. It makes you obviously a lot more, the sex becomes a lot more to the front of your mind, where you go, wow, this is something I really want to take advantage of here.
Yes.
But one of the beauties of the product is every vein and every artery in our body is covered by an epithelial layer. Okay. And what that does, it's very effective. When you're in your teens and your 20s and your early 30s, it's very supple. So what it does is it allows good things like hormones, vitamin, minerals to absorb, and keeps bad stuff like bacteria, viruses out of your bloodstream. As you age, as you reach your mid-30s, that epithelial layer begins to harden. When it hardens, it's even better at keeping bad stuff out, but then it starts keeping good stuff out, starts keeping out vitamins, minerals, and hormones. The negative part of that, especially hormones, is you start getting more body fat, you lose lean muscle tissue. And for women, when you don't have proper hormone absorption, and this is exacerbated, when you get to be late and you go through, the change and everything else, is you begin to lose the ability to naturally moisturize. So women in their late 30s, early 40s, late 40s have to use a lot of outside lubrication. Mm-hmm. And, even though it academically and that it's a factor, it's still, I went through this with my current girlfriend. She's 47, and she started to have a little bit of, dryness. And in my mind, it was like, oh my God, maybe she's not as turned on. You know what I mean? I know for
There's
a fact.
the
I'm
ego.
in the business. Exactly. And I'm like, wait a second, you stooge. You're aware of this. And even you know what I mean? But it's human nature. Okay.
It is. Yep,
and
absolutely
for the
normal.
woman, even though it's something that has nothing to do with her desire and libido, she feels like, oh my God, am I projecting to my man that I'm not turned on? So a lot of people will tell us, even though we were aware academically, intellectually, that this was nothing to do, it still is so much nicer now that I've regained that ability to lubricate. And, my body fat went down by 1%. My lean muscle tissue went up by 1%. Wow. So the VitaFlux has been a godsend for us. It's our second best-selling product behind, the delay spray. So you're right. It would be great. I don't know why I never thought about just go buy some of the other products. Go, hey, this company has this, and this.
Hey, look what they sent me for a discount because I did this.
Because I bought the VitaFlux or the aloe vera lube, the organic aloe vera lube. I got a discount code. Let's try this kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Another area that really blew up are our vibrators.
Yeah, I saw those on your website. It's awesome.
There's, I never knew these existed, but they're huge now. There's male vibrators, these masturbatory toys, like the Hot Octopus and My Hixel and the Ionic Wave. I mean, and they are so complex now. You know what I mean? I mean, they warm and they lubricate and they slide. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my God. I mean, like, it's, vibrators are just not for women anymore. And one of the things that we've tried to do, and I send emails out to our customers all the time, and men, there's still a certain percentage of men out there that are intimidated by vibrators, that they feel if they incorporate a vibrator into their relationship, that means there's something they're not doing. That means that, maybe they are less than. And I've tried to emphasize that as a man, your role and your desire should be to give your woman or man, if you happen to be in a man-man relationship, as many and as intense orgasms as possible. Leave your ego at the door, okay? my feeling has been, as long as I'm in the room, okay, it's going to be good for me if my partner has as many as an intense orgasms as possible, because she's eventually going to say, I really like the feeling I get with this guy. He's somewhat funny. He makes a good living. He keeps me pleasured. I'm going to make sure that he's pleasured, And
It's the connection.
it's the connection. Yeah. And the funny part is, if you always keep your partner's needs before your own, you get rewarded like you're Gandhi. Oh my God, you're so caring. You're such a sensitive, caring guy. And I'm like, well, I know what's coming for me later. So if you want to give me credit, great. But I'm kind of paying it forward here. You know what I mean? But hey, treat me like I'm, like the second coming. Go ahead. You know what I mean? But in reality, I want my partner to have pleasure. Anytime you're with someone, I'm kind of old fashioned. I don't want to be with a stranger. If I'm with someone, it's because I'm connected. I really care for them, and hopefully vice versa. And I want them to have a lot of pleasure because I know it's better for them. But I also know they're going to go, I want to make sure he's pleasured as well. Yeah. So guys, don't be, fascinated and caught up in your own ego and go, if I bring toys in, if I bring this in, that means I'm less than. No, you know what it means? You're creative. You know what it means? You're putting the focus on your partner where it should be.
I love that because, again, it's talking about, I recognize even physiologically, we are built different. Totally. Like the arousal gap, the orgasm gap, everything.
Well, not only that.
I know that. And I'm not blaming your sex for why do you take so long? And why are you so hard to get off? It's like, ooh, I recognize that and I have control, and I'm going to control what I can by bringing in some help, some
not only that,
wellness support.
You guys have the ability to have many more orgasms than we do. Okay. I tell people, and I use this analogy and people find it hilarious, but it's true. When you start your early sexual awakening, whether it's 14, 15, 16, or I don't know, nowadays, maybe people start at 13. For me, it was 15. But when you're that age until you're like 30, you're a machine gun. You're just firing all over the place. You can go 3, 4, 5, 6 times in an evening, no problem. Then you get into your 30s till your early 40s, and you're kind of a semi-automatic rifle. You can fire one off and then reload for a period of time. Okay, you're ready to go. Then in your 50s and 60s, you're kind of a rifle. You get your one shot. And I tell people now that you're in your 60s, I'm like a musket. Remember in the Civil War where you have to put the powder down with a thing, then you put the ball. It takes you like a half hour to get one shot off, and then when you do, you got to start all over again. People go, what is your refractory period? Refractory period means, okay, after you ejaculate, how long does it take you to be ready to, go again? I go, I'm not sure I can say in hours. It's usually a night's sleep, a workout in the gym, a breakfast. Okay. Then the next day, maybe. Okay. Yeah. And, so there's this accommodation that you make. And that's why a lot of our customers are younger, because they really don't have that real feel of the ejaculatory response yet. So that they're newer in their sexual awakening. And a lot of our customers are getting older and they go, I'm only good for once every 2 to 3 days. I got to make sure that is a very memorable experience for both me and my partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something that, you have this pressure to perform to a certain standard, and, our bodies change and our relationships change and dynamics and stress and all sorts of things. So then you bring that in. Now we're just this complicated ball of who knows what. Why not be open to explore different solutions that you do have control over, right? I know I don't have control over aging and changing. That's just part of life. So I think it's really great that there's stuff out there. But what really sold me was listening to other interviews with you on other podcasts and things like that. And I was like, man, this guy is passionate about what he talks about. Like, that is really, really cool. It's not just the salesman. It's not just this person that's trying to make a buck. And really, really educated on everything. I mean, everything that you've talked about so far, you definitely know your stuff. When being a CEO, you could have other people tell you that, right? Oh, I don't know. Our product works. Someone else told me. I just read a report and it works. You know exactly what's happening. And I'm always hesitant to bring anyone with products on the show, right? Because I don't want it to sound like, hey, we're just selling this and this is what we're for. Not at all. So I truly do look at the efficacy and the quality, and are you putting good back into the world and not just trying to sell a product? You are trying to sell connection. You are trying to sell sexual wellness, right? In the different products, in the different education formats too. So that was something that I was like, we got to get him on the show. Absolutely love that message. And it was just a joy even to chat with you before we started recording.
No, I did my research as well. And I go, this woman is connected with her audience. You know what I mean? And she truly, I've been on some other podcasts where they have mid-rolls and commercials and they're hawking 27 different things. And I'm like, what am I doing here? This is not what we're about. You know what I mean? This is, that's why we send the little care basket out to everyone. I go, try our products. I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to experience it. And as we both know, we have a 60-day full money back, unquestioned guarantee on our products. If for any reason you don't find them acceptable, you get a full refund. We don't ask for the product back. That is extreme confidence in who we are and what we do. We're looking for people that are going to be long-term customers. I'm not looking to sell one to everyone in the world and have them be dissatisfied and not come back. We're looking to find people who truly want to have better intimacy. And if they find something and educate themselves that we have it and it works, then they become long-term customers and they spread the word by telling other colleagues. The physicians that recommend us, I'm indebted to them forever because they're passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
And when you say, some people have other people do it. Initially, we had a lot of our doctors, come on these podcasts. And the first time I did it, one of our doctors got called into surgery. And, it was like, oh my God, can you fill in? I go, well, yeah, I know this stuff inside and out. That's all I do all day, every day. So I did it. And the response right away was insane. People are like, I relate to that guy. He talks my language. Yeah. Because if a doctor comes on your podcast and you go, how do you use it? And the doctor's exactly, because this exact thing has happened. The doctor goes, well, you apply it on the frenulum and you do this in terms of frenulum. What the hell is that, right? So they're Google searching frenulum for the next 5 minutes. They go, oh, that's the underside of the head of the penis, okay? Meanwhile, in the 5 minutes, they missed the whole rest of the thing and it's gone. He's off the air. So someone says to me, how do you use the product? I go, you spray it on the underside of the head of your penis, which is called the frenulum. They go, oh, that's cool, okay. A doctor will go, oh, you were using SSRIs. Person goes, SSRIs, what the hell is that? So then they Google search SSRI, then it says selective serotonin. So they have to do that. So that's why I say SSRIs, which are commonly known as depression drugs, Paxil. I talk like the people that need the information. I am one of them, okay? I'm your typical knucklehead. I'm not smarter than anyone. I'm not a doctor, okay? I just happen to have good business sense, so I run the company. I talk in exact fashion that I would want to hear if I was a listener. Passionate, truthful, honest, and open. And let's take the shame away. Let's take the stigma away. And let's talk real life, okay? Oh. I'm 64 years old. I've never been married. I've been in a number of relationships in my life. I'm not, someone who has multiple partners. I tend to gravitate towards very significant, stable relationships. But one of the things that life has taught me, that people come in all shapes and all sizes, even the same woman that might even look the same and built basically the same. Some of them have very sensitive vaginal parts. It's like, oh my God, just around the area, don't touch me directly on the clitoris. I'm extremely sensitive, and you're like, okay. So the next woman you date's like, I really need it rough. I really need direct stimulation right on. I'm like, and you almost laughed to yourself. You're like, how can that
be? Are all across the board.
Exactly.
Good luck.
And that's why I tell men, don't go into this, because some men will go, oh, this is my patented move. Oh my God, This works on all women.
Laugh at that.
When I hear that, I'm like, what are you, a boob? Okay. I always tell women when I first start dating someone, and some of them are a little bit like, oh my God, I'm so shy. It'd be like, I want you to masturbate for me. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I want you to. And they'll go, why? And I'll go, first of all, over the next month, I can learn a lot about what you like, what you don't like, or we can get right to the point, because when you masturbate, you know exactly what you like, okay? If I watch you masturbate, I know exactly how you like to be touched, what frequency, what pressure, what area, because obviously you're not turning yourself off, you're turning yourself on. Okay. And then they get that. They're like, oh my God, I've never heard anyone ask me. I go, well, first of all, I'm a foyer. Okay. So I do enjoy it. But second of all, why would I want to go through? It's like, why would I want to take a class for a whole month if someone goes, here's the crib sheet, here's exactly what you need to know out of this, and you can learn it in 30 minutes. Why would I want to spend a month learning what I can learn in 30 minutes? Plus that next month is going to be a lot more pleasurable for her, where she doesn't have to go, I really don't like that. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. So.
Or not want to tell you because they're worried about your ego.
Your fragile male ego, you know what I mean? So it's really important that guys listening to this don't go into anything with your patented moves. Don't go into anything with all women like this, because all women don't like anything, okay? React to who you're with. Learn her body. Learn her emotions, learn when and how and why to do certain things, and then do them. It'll be better for both of you.
Absolutely. So I was talking about one of the products that I'm like, okay, sold. I'll probably be a lifetime member of this. There's a reason we also have an orgasm gap. Is so much of it for women and men too, but mostly for women, it is that, emotional load, or that whatever's going on in our heads, we can't turn it off. We're worrying about the thoughts and we can't get in the moment. For me, it is always smells. Smells are such a big deal for me. And so if my partner is going down on me, I'm like, oh no, do I have a long day scent? Is it just not fresh? Like, always constantly worried. So that's going through my head, which taking me longer to climax, which is just, it's just, then that stresses me out, that I'm like, oh no, he's probably worried because I'm taking so long. He's worried that he's doing something wrong. And it's this back and forth thing. So the before and after wipes are my fave, because I can real quick, freshen up, feel confident.
You're going to be fresh and confident. Absolutely.
Yes. Feel so confident with that. And for my partner as well, without harming any ego, because, hey, scents and, both people smell sometimes. Yeah. And so that was something that I was like, these are great. And I just liked how they were just quick and easy and
they're individually wrapped. One of the things that I did, there are some other ones, and this doesn't make sense to me, because they're in this big plastic tub and you pull one out and the next one comes out. You're like, first of all, next one's going to dry out. Okay. Second of all, if you do that, do you really want this industrial strength tub sitting next to your bed? Or say you go to a club, say you go somewhere for the weekend, you're going to carry it around.
Travel. Come on.
Yeah. They're so nice. They fit right in your pocket, change pocket, wherever. They're very convenient. They're very comfortable, and the reason they're called before and after, you use them both, and that has been a big hit, believe it or not. And when people first started asking me for those, they were like, hey, I go to a club, we go home, I've just been
dancing and sweaty.
Yeah. I'm like, I need to freshen up. I'm like, okay, great. We developed those. It took off immediately. And I was like, whoa, I wish I could say I was smart, but I just listened again to what people were telling me. But women have that issue a lot more than men, that they're very concerned about cleanliness and smell and that kind of stuff. And I've had women tell me that I can't climax during oral sex when someone goes down on me because I'm so afraid, you know what I mean? And, and I go, listen, hopefully you're with a guy that if for some reason there was an issue, he could bring it up, you know what I mean? But assuming if he's down there for 20 minutes and he's going to town, I'm assuming that there's really no issue, or else he would have been back up by now, you know what I mean? So I try to tell people, listen, give me or whoever you're with enough credit. You know what I mean? That if it's distasteful, they're not going to be performing oral sex on you for 20 minutes if it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so, women in general, but it's not women, it's society. You look at Shape magazine and you look at all these things are so unrealistic. I've been with women before and, we've just made love and had oral sex and we were in 69 position and they get up and go to the restroom and they're like covering themselves up. I'm like, what are you doing?
I just saw every piece of you. Yeah.
I'm like, you were just sitting on my face 30 seconds ago. Okay. I really think you don't really need to worry about covering yourself up. I had a very close and personal look. Okay. I mean, really? And it's funny because there's not a woman on planet Earth that doesn't feel like she could use the couple losing a couple pounds. I swear to you, I go in the gym and I see women that are 5'4", 108 pounds on a Stairmaster for 2 hours. Oh, I got this one little pooch that I just need to get rid of. And I'm like, what? I mean, like, you're a size 0, okay? There's not a guy in the world, not one, that doesn't think he's 2 sit-ups and a run around the block from being on the stage with posing trunks, flexing as Mr. America. Every guy thinks their body is 1,000% better than it really is. And every woman thinks her body is 1,000% worse than it really is. It's just difficult being a woman. It really is. And it's society. It's not that women are uptight. Just think of the messages you're getting hit all day. Every magazine you look at with women with 22-inch waist and 38-inch chest. You know what I mean? That's not real. Mm-hmm. I'm just glad that for me, that I'm 64 and I grew up and had my sexual awakening in 1972 at age 15, so that I hadn't watched porn yet. Of course, now everyone has seen porn before they're intimate now. Okay, because you get phones when you're 10 years old. Okay, you have internet, you whatever. If I had watched porn before I make love to someone the first time, I would have been such a ball of anxiety and nerves that I would have freaked out. I probably would have had a cardiac arrest. Okay, because if I would have literally said before I had sex, okay, the average man has a penis that's 12 inches long, it's the circumference of a beer can, that can thrust for 45 minutes, and he jumps off, runs across the room, and shoots his partner in the forehead, okay, with his ejaculate, with deadly accuracy, I would have went, oh my God, I'm so deficient. I'm never having sex ever again.
Something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me.
I was bubbling around for 30 seconds. I got done, and I'm like, I'm Tarzan. Oh my God, I'm the greatest in the world, because I had nothing to compare it to. I knew it felt really good, and I'm assuming that she had a good time too, and that kind of a thing. So the day and age we live in right now is so unique, you know what I mean? And there's so much anxiety and pressure, and the people getting caught up in their own heads, you know what I mean, that they can't relax and just enjoy the moment.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned something about like women have it hard, right? There's a lot of things society are telling us, and a lot of the sexual wellness products are all marketed to men, right? Always. And so that's where I was like, perked up when I heard orgasm gap, helping close the orgasm gap. And I was like, tell me more. And then, just kind of even the time, it says after you spray the delay spray to wait 10 minutes. I was like, there's 10 minutes of foreplay that she's getting in there, and I was like, yeah, these really do help, both partners. And it's something that's always really important to me, is to make sure that women are still seen as, we also want to improve our sexuality. We're not just here to be that target of someone else's sexuality. And so just kind of, and seeing that there was the VitaFlux for women and everything, I was like, awesome.
Female arousal gel. Yeah.
Yeah. And plus, I don't know if anyone has ever told you your logo. Did you notice what it looks like? I mean, it
looks like a ram's head for men, and it looks like ovaries or uterus for women.
That's it. I was like, okay,
that's not an accident.
This is for women.
That's not an accident. Okay. That was the perfect thing.
That's awesome.
That you view it how you want to view it. You know what I mean? Yeah. You ever see those things? They go, well, viewing this, what do you see? Women see ovaries. They see reproductive for women. Guys see ram's heads, But even if you look at some of the products that are out there for men, I wish I was kidding. Stud 100, Do Me Long and Hard. Okay. Yeah. We brought an elegance to this. We are a couples therapy. We really want sexual wellness for people and couples. The idea of Do Me Long and Hard, Stud 100, like caveman dragging woman back to cave, hopping on, that is so primitive, and it's insulting to women. It really is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even when we only had male products initially, we stressed this product is more for women than it is for men. Think about it.
If a man having his orgasm.
Yeah. If a man prematurely or rapidly ejaculates, he's still ejaculating. Okay. He's still having pleasure. The woman's like sitting there going, excuse me, I'm over here. What about me? And so we included women in the dialogue, in the discussion early on, because we knew so many women were frustrated and saying, we need something in this relationship. And now up until 3 years ago, 99%, up until we had female products, 99% of our products were purchased by men. Every time I'd see a woman's name, like Linda or whatever, I'd go, that's a guy that went to buy it and goes, hey, my credit card's not working. Hey, hon, can I use your credit card? You know what I mean? Like now 30% of our business is female and growing by the month. Because, and it's not just the female products. We have women buying some products and delay spray for their husbands or boyfriends. Women in this country still drive consumer spending. Most guys grudgingly go to buy anything. I'll make do with this. Oh, we ran out of toilet paper. I'll use a newspaper. You know what I mean? Like guys are just like, I don't want to do anything out of my ordinary routine unless I have to. Women also talk. I told people if I had to do it over again, I would have started with the women's products for this reason. When all we had were men's products, literally, we have these customer surveys, about 20% of people fill them out. In the first 7 years, I think we had 3 people out of 800,000, customer surveys that went referred by a friend. For this reason, if guys find something they feel that gives them an edge or makes them better sexually, the first thing to do is they go, I don't want any other guy to have this.
Close off the competition. Yes.
I want to be the biggest, brightest rooster in the barnyard. I want to impregnate all the other hens. I want to have the brightest feathers, okay? So they don't share because it's like, oh my God, this gives me an advantage over my rivals. If a woman finds something that helps her moisturize, increases her libidos, increases the intensity of her orgasm, she's on Pinterest, she's on Reddit, she's texting, she's on
starting
Facebook,
a podcast.
She's starting a podcast, she's calling, she's on a at the edge of a mountain with a conch shell, you know what I mean? Like calling all her friends, it's insane. Yeah. So many women that buy our product go, heard from a friend told me, my work colleague told me. I'm like, all we have to do, I was joking. I said to our marketing director, I said, all we have to do is find 2 to 3 key women in every city in the United States. We'll be complete national after that. Just plant the seeds. They will tell everyone else. Don't worry about it. It's insane how the growth of our female product is all organic. Other females tell, hey, this actually works.
And it's important for women to vet other products too, right? Yes. I am going to listen to my friend who has tried it, versus the commercial that's telling me kind of thing. So if I have someone who can vet it for me, you've probably already got me sold before I've even tried it.
Exactly.
And so,
this is valid.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because we live in an age now, and it's unfortunate because there are so many shysters. There are so many companies operating out of a garage. They'll make something. I don't care how garbage your product is. It's not that hard to make a slick digital ad. You know what I mean? And go, you have no idea how frustrating it is to me because people buy our product and they go, I was so close not to buying your product. I'm so glad I did. And I go, why didn't you almost buy it? They go, well, even though I saw all these doctors, on your site and they were giving testimonials, I bought this product before and it said doctor recommended, it had a picture of a doctor. I go, what's the product? And sometimes they'll actually say it was this product. And I look up the site and there's a Getty stock photo of a doctor in a physician's lab goes doctor recommended. And I go, wait, you're telling me there's a video on our website of Dr. Mohit Kira, the president of the Sexual Medicine Society of North America. He has his lab coat on. It says Dr. Mohit Kira, Baylor University. He's a sex expert. You're equating that with a Getty stock photo that says, I'm like, oh my, that's why you have to, for us, we have to go on podcasts. We have to go on serious radio shows where people can understand the difference. Our products are made in a class 100 clean room. They're all pharmaceutical grade components. We have clinical studies on them. That costs a lot of money, but it ensures that you're not getting these gas station boner pills that have sildenafil in them, okay? You don't know how many times that's happened where literally they're selling these herbal supplements in gas stations and convenience stores. Herbal, and they're laced with sildenafil. Yeah. And it pisses me off because that's dangerous, okay? And that's playing with people's lives. The reason sildenafil is prescription is because if you have certain conditions, it can be deadly. It can kill you. If you have heart conditions or diabetes. Oh, yeah. And there's companies that have been busted over. There's a company called Green Lumber. I see them everywhere. And they have those kind of pills. They were busted for having sildenafil in their product, in these herbal over-the-counter medications. They paid a giant fine and they're back in business. Sildenafil doesn't accidentally jump into your herbal supplement, okay? How in the world are they allowed to continue to do business? I don't care how big the fine is. Obviously, they're doing enough business that they just paid the fine, and that's wrong, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you prove that you are violating people's safety and in the sanctity of this community we live in, putting people's health at risk, you don't deserve to be selling product anymore. I'm sorry, that's my view, okay? If you're willing to put people's lives at risk for the sake of the almighty dollar, you don't have the trust and the ability to endanger people once again.
Trust. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. I am inviting you and your product, not you, but your product into my bedroom, into my most intimate, private, sacred, a lot of times place. If I don't have trust in that product, if you're coming off sleazy, if you were just coming here and pitching, people would be able to see right through that. Right.
Yeah.
But you came in, you said, this is my experience. This is the experience of others. This is, the efficacy of what we have, our product. And you're building that trust, which is so important because that's what we really do when we want to be intimate and vulnerable with others. And so super excited to have you on the show because of that. Like after I heard a couple interviews, I was like, I just want to chat with this guy all day about fun sex stuff. Like,
well, to me, the best podcasts are just like this, where later my marketing director go, how'd that podcast go today? And I go, what? I go, oh, that's because to me, it's like I'm having a conversation with a friend. You know what I mean? Like we're discussing things that are important to me, that I'm passionate about. And I never try to sell anything. What I tell people, go to our website and educate yourself. Okay. If after educating yourself, you think there's something there that can help you in a certain area, then go ahead and make that purchase. But make it with the full understanding that there's no risk. Because if you're not happy with it, then you get a full money back guarantee. And sometimes you go, oh, money back guarantee. Then you go, oh my God, I had to pay $7.95 for it to be shipped to me. I have to pay $7.95 for it to be shipped back. I had to go to the post office, do whatever. We don't have any charge. It's free shipping. Okay. You don't have to send it back. So it is truly no risk. Okay. Zero. There's not $7.95 there, $7.95 back. So it's $16. So in reality, that $20 bottle you bought, even though it's supposed to be free, cost you $16. It will literally be a wash. It will be zero. That's how confident we are in the performance of our product. We don't want you to be out a dime if you're not satisfied. That way, people will go, I really like this product. And nothing works for everybody. But we have about a 95% satisfaction rate where people really like the product. We do have the occasional scammer. We've had a couple people that literally, said, hey, I really want a refund. I didn't like the product. Then a month later, they order the product with a different email address to the exact same name and the exact same address. And then 2 months later, they order a third time with another email. And, you just laugh. You go, that's part of the territory. You live with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If someone who obviously likes the product, but goes, hey, I can scam a free, to me, that gets lost in a noise level somewhere. That just happens, it's part of life. It's who we are as a society now. But it's more important for me to allow people to have the trust and to say, these people believe in their products, they stand behind them. Because the majority of people are still really good and honest and have integrity and do things the right way. This is too important a part of life not to address. If you're spending money at the gym, if you're getting your hair cut, if you're getting your hair colored, if you're getting your hair dyed, okay? If you're on a keto diet, if you're, on a meal plan, you're spending all this money to lose weight, to become healthier. Chances are you're doing that either to attract somebody if you're single or to be more attractive to the person you're with. Why go 90% of the way without going, well, the last 10% is making sure the person I'm with or the person I'm going to attract is going to have the ultimate satisfaction when you're together physically with your intimacy. It's just natural. Get the stigma, the taboos out of here with, whatever happens, just happens. It's meant to be. You don't do that in any other area of your life. You don't put your hand over your eyes and go, just buy that stock, whichever one my finger lands on. You do your research and you want to get the maximum return on your investment. When you go to the gym, you want to work out in the best possible fashion to get the best possible results. You eat supposedly the healthiest, best tasting foods so you can stay in good shape, and that kind of stuff. Do the same thing with your sex life. Optimize it. You
want control over your wellness. In the end, you want control. This is just a way that you can gain back some more of that control. Have some more, keep up with that expectation. Maybe expand your expectations, hey, I thought I was only here, but now I can be up here. I didn't even know that. Right. Yeah. So, get curious in the bedroom, try things out, even if it's just for an experiment. One thing you mentioned about, those who aren't having trouble performing or don't have, PE, and then they decide to still use the delay spray because, hey, it'll make me last longer. There is a threshold that you won't end up being able to pleasure yourself at all, right? It's too much of a good thing can be harmful. Yeah. So when you have, someone who's typically not looking for what exactly the product was made, but still wanted to maybe turn things up a little bit, what would you suggest?
You mean in terms of products or in terms of that particular product, the amount that they would use?
Both.
Okay. I would say if you're going to use it recreationally, start with one spray. Absolutely one. Okay. If you go, well, I went from 10 minutes to 15, but I'd like to go to 20, then you can go to 2. But experiment. One of the things is these are meter dose spray bottles. That's really important because when you have a cream or you just have a pump bottle, okay, depending on how hard you pump it, how hard you squeeze, you get different amounts. With a meter dose spray bottle, it's titrated. You get the exact same amount each time. So if you say one spray allows this, 2 spray, then you go, we've had people say, if, the kids are out of town and my wife and I don't have to get up, it's a Friday night, I use 2 sprays. If it's during the week on a Thursday, we'll be coming in at 11 o'clock at night, I got to get up at 5 and she's got to get up at 5:30, whatever. And they go, I use 1. I go, oh my God, too much information. You know what I mean? They're like titrating it, like how long they want to last. So that's the one thing I will tell you is start small. Okay. You can always go up, but if you start with too much, you're going to get in a situation where your partner climaxes and you're going to be going, I'm not done yet. Okay. Well, get off me. You know what I mean? Like, okay,
well, I'm done.
I'm done. It's a funny story. We have this interactive chat feature on our website and I work it a couple hours a week. People go, what? You're that small? I go, no. It's important for me to talk to our customers. That's how I find out what other products should we investigate. How do you like this? How do you like that? I'm very curious in that regard, like, how'd you find us? Like what, an ad, a podcast, whatever, that really helps me understand what works, what doesn't work. So I'll invariably have a guy that comes on and goes, hey, I last 20 minutes, I want to last an hour, will this help me? And I go, whoa. First of all, if you're lasting 20 minutes and you're dissatisfied, if you talk to your partner, well, no, really. I go, well, if your partner's not climaxing in 20 minutes of penetration and thrusting, maybe it's more of a technique issue. Maybe you guys need to talk. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure stretching the time to an hour is really going to help you. They go, well, I'm here to buy your product. I go, no, listen, if it's going to help you, I want you to buy it, but let's make sure we understand what the real issue here, because chances are there's something not going, right in your lovemaking. It could be nothing to do with the man. There are some women that have a hooded clitoris that have trouble literally climaxing through, only like 67% of women even climax vaginally through penetration and thrusting. So I'll tell people, maybe you need to, you have a little more warm up, a little more foreplay, maybe to do a little more oral sex, incorporate a vibrator. I'm not sure whether just increasing the duration. I mean, what are you going to eventually do? Go 2 hours? There's a fine line between pleasure and punishment. Okay. And I think you're crossing it here. I don't know very many women have said to me, I love direct thrusting for an hour. Okay. First of all, you have to have a 55-gallon vat of lube next to you. You know what I mean?
That's all I'm thinking of, like, oh man.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that, start with a modest amount, then work your way up as you find out what works for you and your partner both. Incorporate some other things in there. That's with the delay spray. For other products, I would say experiment. If your partner has low libido, then try the arousal gel for women. Try the VitaFlux for women. If your partner is having trouble moisturizing, then try the lubes. There's organic, there's water, there's the aloe vera, there's the silicone. Use the toys. If a woman has low libido, you can try VitaFlux. There's a number of different options, So look at your personal situation and go, what areas could we possibly enhance? What areas could we find a higher degree of satisfaction sexually? And find something that addresses that specific area, because we pretty much have something for everyone. And, we also have some articles. So we have tons of blog articles that have nothing to do with even products that we have, like Peyronie's and, that's curvature of the penis and stuff. And we will direct you to medical specialists and, potential cures for stuff like that. We've tried to build a portal that's all about sexual wellness. And, I got criticized for that early on. People are like, is that an educational site? Are you a university site? Or are you selling product? I go, well, both. I go, we're trying to educate people because we feel the more intelligent you are, the more options that you're aware of. Most roads lead to us because we have excellent products. But if in getting you help for whatever it is you're looking for, we refer you to someone else, then hopefully that enhances our standing in the community where people go, hey, these guys are really good. They're not just in this for money. We're not the Red Cross, we're a for-profit company, but it's not always about milking every dollar out of every customer, or we don't want your money if we can't help you. If you're buying our products for the wrong reason, they're not going to work. I would rather you not buy our products because it creates a feeling of, hey, that didn't work. I spent my money. It was a headache. I'd rather, instead of getting your money for something that doesn't work, steer you to someone who can help you, because it'll leave you with a positive feeling about us. And at the end of the day, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of power in education and choice, and allowing that's the huge big piece of the podcast, is to be able to say, hey, I'm not telling you this is the way you have to have sex. I'm not telling you this is the only way to do this, this, or this. I want to give you information so you are empowered to make a choice that fits your need. That is it. So I just love that our missions align very, very well. It's been such a joy to talk with you, and we could probably chat all evening. But for anyone who wants to find out more, I mean, Google Promescent. It's not hard to find.
Exactly. No, we have quite a bit of press out there. I always tell people, because people go, how can I find you? And our delay spray is in certain Walmarts. We're in Target. We're in GNC. We're on our website. We're on Amazon. But I always tell people, start at promescent.com. Promescent. Start there for this reason. That's where you're going to find the clinical studies. You're going to find the blog articles. You're going to find the physician testimonials. That's where you're going to learn which products fit best, you know what I mean, for which conditions. And that's where you're going to get the full money back guarantee. That's where you're going to get the most. But if you educate yourself and you go, I want to try this product, then there's a store finder. You type in your zip code. It'll show you, because not all products are in every store. It'll show you which stores around you have which product. Here's the way we feel. We want to provide it to you in the most convenient fashion that you want to have it. So if you want to go drive and get it, it will show you the stores near you that have it. If you want to get it delivered, you can do that. If you want to get it on Amazon, you can do that. We just want to make it as comfortable for you, because some people, if they have children, don't feel good about it being delivered. Hey, Dad, your Promescent came. Even though it comes in a brown, manila, packing device that says APLLC on it, so it's total. But sometimes kids, even if it has the dad's name, they open it up. You know what I mean? And sometimes people would just feel more comfortable getting it. Other people don't want to go to the store and get it. They want it delivered because if they go to the local drugstore, local Target, their neighbor's daughter's working the checkout. Oh, buying your Promescent today, Mr. Smith, So it's important for us to have retail, to have, it available by mail, whatever. So that's why we have every venue. But the most important thing is to go to the website and educate yourself so you're buying the right product for the right reasons. Then get it wherever you feel comfortable getting it. But make sure you're buying the right product for the right reason. And make sure you watch the videos to use it correctly.
Oh, awesome. That's because, no one likes to read instructions these days. We
No,
are
they're
all
videos.
instantaneous. Someone else tell me what to do. I love that there's the videos on there. That's so great.
A society where the general attention span is 30 seconds, okay? Everyone has to consume everything. So we have Dr. Anthony Belchunas. He's in Waco, Texas. He actually has a rubber phallus showing you exactly how to apply the spray and everything.
That's great. That's fun. Yeah. Wish I was there to watch that being shot, just having fun with that.
I was there. Trust me, it was hilarious. We were both cracking up. You know what I mean?
Oh, I bet. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Jeff. I hope there's a time that we can connect again. And for all of our listeners out there, if you haven't heard already, we are throwing a big party for our 100th episode coming out in May. And so all of our past guests are invited. You're all invited. So follow our social media so you can find out how you can come. Jeff, if you would like to come to Utah, you are more than welcome to join us in our party in May.
It's not that far from Summerlin, believe it or not.
Yeah. Come on.
May,
it'll be great.
Which is great because coming there right now might be a little chilly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Yeah. You want it warm.
May sounds like mountain biking, hiking. You know what I mean?
It's gorgeous in May.
I've been wonderful.
There. Yeah. Don't forget to follow us on social media, and we have our new website, saltysexcast.com, so you can find all of the great things. We will even have a link straight to Promescent. So if you want to be lazy, don't want to type in all the letters, I don't know, we'll get you there eventually. All roads lead to better in bed, right?
Right.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeff. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And
you as well. It was my pleasure.
We'll see you all in 2 weeks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Salty Sex Cast. Ready for round 2? Find us on Facebook.